Hello, friends. Today, a very interesting story. The name of this story is Patient Griselda. So the story starts like this, that once upon a time, there was a nobleman called Walter who was both good and powerful, much beloved by his people. After a time, he had not married this and a deputation to him saying, Marcus, please marry your wife so that we may have your son to take your place when you are gone from us. And he replied, I shall marry when I find one whom I can love and find suitable. So they had to be content. Now there was a poor man living humbly with his daughter Griselda near a well of fresh water. Walter was riding by when he saw the girl, tall and beautiful, carrying a pot of water on her head. He asked her for a drink and she then noticed she was lovelier than any woman he had ever seen, wished to marry her. In her one simple smock and barefoot, she arrived at the castle. Women attendants bathed her, dressed her in the fine clothes, and prepared her for marriage to their noble lord. After the extravagant wedding and great rejoicing of the people, Walter took Griselda into a private room and said, Now, wife, you must obey me all that I wish, and respect my thoughts and commands, and whatever they may be. So she promised that she would. And for a while they were very happy. Indeed, in a year's time, a daughter was born to them, a very beautiful child, as fair as her mother. She came the first great test of Griselda's married life. Her husband came to her and said to her, The people who love me are dissatisfied with you. They said that I should not have married someone in such a low station. Life as you. Do you not wish me to have children by you? So the child must be taken away and killed. Griselda was stricken to the heart. But she knew she must do everything her husband required. So she agreed to have the child taken away to be killed in a remote. As the huntsman came in and dragged the little girl from her arm, she held her for just a moment and said calmly to him, Do bury her deep in the earth. When it is done, she will not be torn by wild beasts. Then she kissed her daughter and sat silently for a while. Not for a moment did she think ill of her husband or cry out in pain. Her life with Walter continued as before, with but one difference, that she never mentioned her daughter's name. Another year passed, and a son of a great beauty was born to Griselda. The loss of the other child seemed to have faded from her mind as Griselda, the law, and singing to him softly as she fed him. Walter appeared to be satisfied with her, and it seemed that all was well with their life husband. But when the boy was 2 years old, Griselda had a severe test of her love for her. He once more said to her, Wife, the people are very distressed in case the grandson of peasant like your father should inherit my property. They ruled them. They demand that he too be taken from you and killed. It's my will that this should be done. And he left her without another word. Patient Griselda held the child from the last time and kissed it. Then she said to the same huntsman who had taken away her daughter, Bury the body deep in the earth, where no beast or bird of prey can reach him. And without so much as tear, she handed over the infant, wrapped in his warmest clothes against the morning chill. After that day, she did not speak of the baby. Yet she treated her husband with the same tenderness and respect as always. She reigned the great house with a perfect calm and dignity. And if indeed she had been a true noble woman instead of a poor peasant daughter brought up in poverty. Now, in reality, Walter was not guilty of his child murder, but dispatched them to the sister country estate, there to be brought up in a luxury and kindness by her. He thought to test Griselda, hoping to find in her character some flaw, some chink in the armor of calm, that goodness of spirit and heart which could scarcely For he thought she cannot be as good as true as she appeared, devoted to me, even these apparently savage acts of mine. Yet I will test her further. So he said to her, Griselda, I have some news for you, which I must tell you now. Yet it will test you further. For some time past, my life has not been happy with my love for you has died. My marriage to you was obviously a mistake. No one is pleased with my marrying a girl of such low degree. My friend will not receive me because of mine. And I have now sent for an annulment. You must stop wearing the cloth and return to wearing the smoke in which you came here. Soon the noble lady whom I am to marry will please get the castle in order for her to take over, so that everything is repellent. Do you understand what I have said? He asked, for she did not even change her expression of calm serenity as he was speaking. Yes, my lord, said Griselda, smoothing the fine dress she was wearing with her slim hand. I understand. All will be done as you desire. Just let me remove these fineries and take the cleaning of the room as my own personal. I wish every good fortune in your new happiness. And she went away to remove her clothes. She had preserved in her chest the plain, simple smoke in which she had arrived. This she took out and put on. Her jewels, furs, silks, and fine shoes she returned to Walter and took her task as housekeeper with much enthusiasm. But went on in her mind and heart, no one knew. It did not appear to her that she was badly done by all, for she just thought she was making good her promise to Walter, and she could carry out without question everything required to her. She visited her father in a single house and spent a day with him. Telling him what had happened, you must return here, she cried. I may be a peasant, but you are my beloved daughter. And I will look after you as I did before, and always knew that this would happen. It is not natural that one so high-born as he should take one such as we are for his wife. I will have to go back and prepare everything for the wedding feast, said Griselda with simple dignity. I have been asked to attend to it, and attend it I shall afterward. Then they are married, I will come back home. So she went back to the castle, walking strongly away in her barefoot and white smoke, her only garment. Now the noble Walter had sent a letter to his sister, asking her to send them all speed distress in a fine clothes and jewel his daughter. The girl was like a princess, tall and fair, and with most excited about the journey upon which she was going. And her aunt's wonderful coach, 6 horses, but she knew not why her younger brother, now a handsome stripling, as good-looking as his father had been at the time of marriage to Griselda, came too. They both were brought swiftly to the castle and led to the guest chamber. Griselda was waiting at the door with fresh flowers for the supposed bride, and gave them to her with charming grace. Walter called Griselda to him and asked, Is she not beautiful, my new bride? And Griselda answered, Yes, my lord, she is fair, but this is the only one thing I would like to say to you. I pray you treat this young princess with greater care than you did me, for as she is so delicate and gently born, she might not be able to bear what I have done and unquestionably and faithfully, and her heart might break. Then she went away to prepare the wedding feast with his others, when the whole castle was decorated with flower and ribbons. Flags and fine carpet were hung from the balconies. Music and singing came from the minstrel gallery. People arrived from every part of Walter's dominion to do with honor at his wedding. Still patient, Griselda attended to every, he said, waiting upon the lady and young brother herself, seeing that everything was to their. The noble called Griselda to him and said, Look Does she not every feature as you once had been your young and my wife? Will you not consider her a suitable wife for me as my people do and wish her a good fortune? He looked at her very strangely, waiting to hear her reply. Yes, my lord, she answered. She is indeed very fair and young, and I wish all joy with each other. Her eyes were raised to his, and in them he read all that was true. Faithful and honest, his heart smote him, and he seized her hand in his, pulling himself to his feet. Dearest Griselda, he cried, forgive me, for I have tested your cruelty. For I had known if you really loved me enough to suffer all these things for me, now sweet and faithful wife, that this princess whom I have brought here and her brother are none other than our own dear children, whom you believe dead. Come, let me place this rubin upon you, and pray you take seat here beside me at the table, so that you will for the rest of your lives be my own beloved wife. Then at last did Griselda tears fall, and she wept as she embraced her long-lost daughter and her handsome son, and thanked God that they were returned. She swore twice, and each time her husband raised her up with loving hand, and Walter, in his misgiving about her, did everything in his power to make her forget the dreadful years of her testing. They lived devoted to each other and to their children for the rest of their days, as happy as true and faithful lover can. Griselda's father, after he understood the tale they told him, was brought to the castle. He too lived the rest of his life in comfort and tranquility, free of all care. So this is the story of the patient Griselda. I hope you will enjoy. The lesson of this is the patient and a love for the husband and a devoted wife.